Incoming right there.
And welcome back to Tactical Rifleman. Let's talk today about gun maintenance and why people don't like to do it. But before we get into that, let's get a word from our sponsor.
Oh snap, who are you?
I'm Captain Riff with Riff C.
Sorry, I don't do social media.
What if I told you we were social media without all the bullshit?
I'll tell you what, middle of a gunfight, I'll give you 30 seconds. Sell me this.
Riff C allows users to share a brief headline-like commentary on news stories through riffs, where they can shape new discussions and redefine the narrative by holding news sources accountable.
All right, that's kind of cool. Tell me more.
Riff C is an uncensored space for all to consume, engage, and voice opinions. Everyone, including you, is guaranteed a place.
All right, not bad, not bad. More details, more. Sell it.
Riff C is a new way to news by presenting news in a fun, interactive manner, making it an enjoyable way to stay informed. Using the Super Boost and our comprehensive scoring system, your opinion is worth more. You define what news is important to you and your community. Riff C brings a lighter, more varied perspective to news consumption by offering a broader scope of news beyond what's breaking. We introduce a wider array of perspectives and stories, providing a space to showcase positive, underrated news stories.
That's kind of cool. What do you say we check it out?
And we're back. Let's go over gun maintenance. Why a lot of people don't like to do gun maintenance. One, it's inconvenient. Two, after you come out for a long day of shooting on the range, do you feel like really tearing a weapon apart, going through, cleaning it, doing all that things, all the minutia that comes with taking care of your rifle? For me, being a gun armorer and gun maintenance expert for 20 years with a number of different entities in the United States Army, I'm telling you, it is important because gun cleaning is not just cleaning your weapon, making it more effective. Gun cleaning is actually checking, making sure that all the components and pieces are not cracked, dented, burred, nicked, whatever that's going to cause you to be an ineffective shooter. And I'm telling you right now, in a gunfight, you don't want to be the guy who has to go, uh-oh, something's wrong. So let's go over a few things. We're going to be talking about different kits and things you might need. Simple field kits while you're on the range, while you're on those classes and courses, which you could look up on our Tactical Rifleman page. Some of those courses, do you want to have a simple kit with you as well as a larger kit when you're done with the course? When do you clean your weapon system? Do you clean it after every time you shoot? Do you clean it once a week, once a month? What's your intervals? We're going to kind of go over that. If you have an optic, is there a cleaning kit for that optic? Yes, yes, and yes. Everything we say here is not necessarily concrete. It's not evident. It's cut in stone, shall we say. You can do what you do and what works best for you. These are just things that I've learned over a long career and working with guys like Carl, Steve, and all their ranges, things that can help you be more effective in what you do. Things that you might want to look at is a kit today. So one kit that you can get, and a lot of these kits aren't anything special. They're not anything direct. They're not anything special. You can actually get them from Amazon for 10 to 15 bucks. One kit you're going to want in a good cleaning setup, a dental tool pick set. Why a dental tool pick set? Because this helps out with a lot of that carbon, because after you shoot and that carbon and all that stuff gunks up on your rifle, it starts to harden. It's almost like plaque on teeth. You're not going to be scarring or marring your metal. You're actually going to be chipping off that carbon if it gets to that point, which we hope it doesn't. But if it does, you have tools that'll help you do that. Another good thing to have if you're going to be working with optics, a simple optics toolkit, which comes in a number of small screwdrivers, because when you're working with optics, especially like these like here, you're going to have tiny little screws. And if you're firing 200 to 300, 400 rounds at the end of the day, some of those screws, if they haven't been blue Loctited in, can start to loosen up, and then your optic's going to shift. Now you're going to be off on target. So that's something you might want to be able to fix on the fly. A little kit like this, as you can see, is small, easily compact, foldable, and goes into your range bag just well. Something always good to have on your body kit is meat. You can either have a Leatherman or a Gerber. It depends on how much money you want to spend. There's a number of them out on the market. Me personally, I have a Gerber. I've worked with Gerber. I like Gerber equipment. It's more ruggedized. It's more easy to transport, and it comes with a lot more options. Me being a gun guy, I've gone with the Gerber that has a lot of pieces and bits with it. I can almost work on any and every piece you can imagine. As you see, I have a small screw set for everything that I need to do. Small wrench. And then a number of different options on my Leatherman. But I'm telling you right now, this right here is your go-to emergency kit if anything happens while I'm on the range, because that's range time is your time. You don't want to have to stop and get removed off of the range trying to fix something when everybody else is shooting and you're losing valuable time. So having something like that can definitely come in handy. That's your maintenance kit. Now let's go over some of the cleaning kits. Kits from a small pack that you could have on your gear, which is just simply like, these are from a company, Otis. Do you have to go through Otis? No, you do not. You can literally create your own pack. As you can see, there's a variety of different field packs here that come in a number of different sizes. But essentials that you do want in your pack are going to be at least cleaning heads, cleaning brushes, and a little bit of oil, along with patches. Now, what we do have to worry about is actually working with wires, cleaning wire. The cleaning wire is great because what you're going to be doing is attaching your head to your wire and then pulling it through the rifle, the same direction of your same direction of flow as the bullets. Always want to go from the same direction of flow from their bullets. But if something happens to get stuck in your rifle, you're talking about a wet noodle here. It's not going to work. So you're going to want to make sure that in your kits, I prefer, as I said, in your kits, is to have rods. Rods are great. If you have both, that's even better. But as you can see, you have a variety of different options. A lot of MOLLE adaptable capable kits. This kit coming from Otis actually comes with a Gerber and a light. So if you actually wanted to have that. A light is also critical to look down your chambers, to look at pieces and components. We're about to go into that, figuring out which pieces and components do we want to actually look at on our weapon system. Now we've gone over the optic. If we're looking at our optic, are we making sure that our cases are good? Is our mount good? Is our tiny screws that are actually holding it good, nice and snug? Now each one of these screws should be torqued down to a specific spec, and that comes from the manufacturer. A lot of the other ones is attachment to my rail. Is that nice and snug and tight? Is it from a screw or is it from a nut or bolt? My particular one is on a nut and bolt, so I don't have to worry about that, but I'd like to have a small wrench to make sure that I tighten it down every time that I go shooting. If we're working on our bolts, things that we want to look at. Working on bolt maintenance, we want to take a look at our teeth. Now, the biggest thing that we want to take a look at our bolt lugs is right here around the extractor on your bolt. Because if you're getting any type of headspace issue on your weapon system, you're going to start developing cracks on either the left or right lug on either side of this extractor. This comes from failed headspace, or you've been shooting a lot and you've got almost 8,000 to 9,000 rounds through your barrel. Your headspace is starting to widen out. So I would say once you get to a certain point, to always take your weapon to a good gunsmith and have them check your headspace and your barrel erosion, because those two components can lead you to a very bad day on the range. You don't want to snap these lugs, because if this lug snaps, if you're lucky, you just have to replace your bolt. If you're unlucky, that bolt snaps, mars up the inside of your chamber, and now you've lost both your gun in the fight, and then you're gonna have to go to your backup gun. And if you didn't bring a backup gun to a gun range, well, you're out of that training class for that iteration. Another thing that we're gonna look at on pistols is the same thing, checking our slides. Our slide on our upper slide, these rails here and here slide back and forth off of our lower here and here. These are the only 2 points of contact that our weapon system is actually making contact with. So as it slides back and forth here and here, these points are what's gliding through these slide points here on your upper slide. This is the point that we're going to be taking a look at to make sure that there is no cracks, dents, or burrs that's going to cause my slide to slow down, causing me failure to eject, failure to extract, failure to load chamber, anything like that. These are also the points that we want to make sure that we clean inside here and here, also inside our magazine well. On our barrel, things that we want to look at. If we look here on our barrel, we have our feed ramp. Our feed ramp is where your bullet is going to launch up into your channel and get it chambered in. But if that feed ramp has got too much gunk on it, then you're going to, again, run into issues. So that's something you want to clean and make sure that's polished and nice and smooth. Recoil springs. As you see, it's a coiled spring around our recoil spring. Around our recoil spring, we want to make sure that our recoil spring isn't binding, messing up, broken, nick, cracked, dented a bird. Famous term that we always use. Nick, cracked, dented a bird. Those are the things you're always looking at. You want to make sure that it actually does have spring tension and everything is good. Your cementing points are good and not overly rounded or squared off, and that it actually is holding on to where it is in its secure point. Different pistols have different areas, but you want to look at all of these key points on your weapon system when you're cleaning it. You're not just wiping the carpet off. You're checking to make sure that your metal is still good, that you still have a good solid foundation for your weapon to function on. Inside the chamber of an M4, everybody knows you clean that star chamber out. If that star chamber on your M4 is not cleaned out thoroughly, those lugs are meeting in that chamber that debris, and that debris now causes stress on those lugs, again leading to possibly a cracked lug. So while doing all of this, or looking at all of this, this is when do we want to do it? Me personally, I like to wipe my gun off every time I've come off a range. Wipe it down. Just a simple wipe down. Get you a cloth, wipe everything off, make sure everything's good to go, light coat of oil. And then I go into a deep clean once I'm finished with my class. Once I'm finished with my class, then I'm going to take everything apart, field strip it down to where my comfortable level is, or whatever your comfortable level is. If you are more accustomed to completely disassembling your weapon system, then go ahead and do that. If you're not comfortable with doing it and you don't know what you're doing, I suggest taking it to a good gunsmith and saying, hey, I would like to have a deep clean on my weapon system. Because the worst thing you want to do is put your weapon together wrong and then having to need it in that critical situation. Click. No good. Cleaning it. A simple wipe down right after you're finished firing for that day. A detailed clean, I would highly recommend once you're finished with your class. Once you're finished with your class, a detailed clean and also sending it to a good gunsmith would be my recommendation. Again, your size of kits depends on what you want to do. A small kit for your class, perfect. Medium-sized kit for longer classes, 2 to 3 week classes. If you go into those longer classes, that's on your kit, perfect. A detailed cleaning kit, a larger kit, definitely a must. Your tool kits, like your dental tool pick, will help you get into those nicks and crannies and grooves. A nice little slut for your optics. Again, very, very important to have while you're in your range bag. For me, the range bag essentials are always going to be one medium-sized tool kit, my dental pick set, and my screwdriver set. Again, all these can be picked up on Amazon cheap. And with that, that is simple gun maintenance gone over from somebody who actually does it for a living. Any comments, leave them below. Click on our site, Tactical Rifleman, for more information and more videos of me coming up.
If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you don't miss out on anything.